Hi, welcome to Java 2. Okay, so in this part of the video, I'm going to create a form inside JavaFX, and we're going to pull some data from this table, and then also insert and update information. So again, back to the book, chapter 34. This is the one we want to build. Okay, this form here, 34.1, and I'll show you how to do the insert part, and you can do the other information. Well, we do the view and then the insert, and then you also do the update. So we're going to build this form here. Again, it doesn't matter how you build it, but it should have all 9 fields. Here only shows 8. It didn't show the email, but you should add it in there as well. So let's go into Eclipse and add a new project in here. This is a JavaFX project, so make sure it's JavaFX project. And I'm going to call this chapter 34 maybe 1. Okay, and just say oh no, yes, doesn't matter. And the thing is, now to connect to MySQL, you want to make sure that you actually download that the jar file. So let's go back to the page here again in the assignment. This is the connector file you want to download. So click on this file and download it to your system. Doesn't matter where you put it. Mine's inside the download folder, so I'll leave that in there. And then inside Eclipse, okay, this particular folder here, you can click on it. Right click and properties, or if you go to project and properties, doesn't matter, and go into the build path, libraries, and we're going to add the external jars. And then just find it. Mine's inside the download file, so you can see that this is the one I just downloaded. Okay, so click on that file, open it, and it should be listed here, and just click apply. And once you click apply, it adds another folder called referenced libraries. You can close that, and then now inside here you see the MySQL connector. Okay, if you're using SQL Server, you do kind of similar fashion, and others as well. So this is the MySQL, and now I'm ready to go and build the form. So inside here I should already have one called main, and I've just used this to build this page. I'm not gonna, well, that's fine. I'm gonna remove all these try and catch stuff. I don't need that. Okay, so I have a scene and then a border pane. I'm probably just gonna use maybe just a pane. What will work best? Well, maybe like a V box, a vertical box, and then a horizontal box, and so on. Let's see what we have. So we have so I have I can use like H box for horizontal, one for this, one for this field, 3 maybe for this, and here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe like 5 H boxes. Okay, and then we'll add that to a pane. Okay, so let's see. And you could build like an overall box around it, which is fine. And then, well, when we want to contain, a main pane to contain everything here inside that main pane, and then we have the actual other panes in there, right? So each will be like if you think of this as a huge pane, and you put each of these pane, row by row, so you're actually building down here. So you could think of this as a vertical pane. So this huge box can be a vertical pane, and each of these will be an internal pane, internal H box pane within the vertical pane. Okay, so maybe we'll do that. I think that's a pretty good option. So let's go back to Eclipse, and instead of pane, I'll put the H box and the V box. This is like the root pane. Okay, I'll call it V box, and I'm gonna import this Java scene, and let me expand this. And all the layout here, I just put the star here, so I don't need this up here. So all the pane will be added here. And then I also want to have maybe you put like a 10 there for just for some spaces. Okay, and then the root, oh, we'll keep it that is fine. And then I also want to have it. So the first row will be like an H box. We'll just call it, I guess, H box 1. New H box. We'll put some spaces in there as well. Or you can put 10 if you want. That's fine. And then also have the H box 2. Right. You have how many rows? I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need 5 of them. Maybe this is 2. This information record not found. This give me the 6, and then 7 for the buttons. So I have about maybe 7 of them. I mean, again, it doesn't matter how you do it. So I'm going to copy this, and I do it like a couple times. So this is the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7. Okay. So and then down here, I'm going to add the root dot get children. Right. Add all. Add the H box 1, H box 2, H box 3, H box 4, H box 5, and so on. H box 6, H box 7. So I have 7 of them. Okay. So this is the pretty simple layout. And I'm going to use some function later on to do the insert and connection and so on. So that means all these fields I will probably want to put it inside the global space. So way up here somewhere, right? Okay. So I need like 3 buttons. If you look at this page, you need actually 4 buttons, lots of labels. Okay. And then you have the text fields. Okay. The label excuse me. So so the first is the label of the text. Like if you have a message just saying records not found, you could give that as a just a label message or something, right? So you can say label, you know, maybe LBL message, new label. Okay, and you leave that blank because it's going to fill that up with the text, and then import this label. So again, the control dot something, just put a star there. Okay, so you need a label for that. I need, the next thing is the ID, right? So label LBL ID, new label ID. Okay, you can do that here, or you can do it directly when you add to your box. So for example, we add the H1 box here. I could say something like, you know, H box 1 dot add, right, get children. Okay, I could say add all, and then here I could new label and just put like ID. All right, you could do that. If you're not gonna need it again anymore, you could do that. And then after that is the text field for txt ID. Okay, you could do that. And then maybe just the text field is needed. So I could say here text field txt ID is new text field. Okay, and maybe we'll just do that because there'll be a lot of them. So I don't need this label here. So I need that. So I added that to the field. And if you run it now, if you save it, for run it, we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so I have here the ID, and then I have the field here. This will be the ID. Okay, and the width and the height, let's just say we're going to make this like 600. Okay, so now the next field is what? We have the you know, last name first, but I could put the first name, middle name, and last name, just your typical one, right? So I'm gonna copy this again into here using this IDE. You just press the Control Shift key and then press down. Oops, didn't work for me. I think the control key. I thought it is Control or the Control Alt key maybe. Yeah, Control Alt. Copy a few times. So the text ID. This is the first name. Okay, and then txt last name, txt middle name, and then txt I think address, txt city, do a few more, state, and phone number, email, txt state, txt telephone, and then the email. Okay, so I have all those fields generated, and then I also need the buttons, right? So I need 4 buttons. So button btn maybe view, new button. This will say view. Okay, and again just copy this 3-4 times. This would be the button insert. And then this is the update, and then the clear. Okay. Okay. So clear, update, and then the insert. I got my buttons, and I think that's pretty much set up the whole thing there. So now it's just a matter of adding that to the child. So again, I'm going to add to the hbox2. Actually, hbox1 should be just the message, right? So let me just duplicate this. Try to make things simple here. So the first one is actually not this, but the LBL message. That's the only one. And then box 2 would have the ID, and then have like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And at the end here, I'm going to add. Well, I already added them here, so that's fine. So the first one here is ID. The second is going to be my first name. So the first name, so it'll be that txt first name, and then actually I have more, right? The first name followed by the new label, and then what, middle name, right? Let me clear this out. I need some space over here. Let me close this. So this is the middle name. I just put middle, and then txt middle name, and I have the, is that what I call txt middle name? Yes. And then I have the new label for the last name, and then txt last name. Okay. Let me do, if I can do a scroll wrap. Okay. So it has that's the second one, and then with the third one, and then after that, below that, what I have the address. So this is just the address. So txt address, and then I have the city, txt city, and state go together, right? So new label, state, and then txt state, and then I have the telephone, the email go together. So I have to say telephone. Let's colon there. Just look nicer. Kind of match what I have up here. And then this is txt telephone. New label, email, and then txt email. And then finally, this is the buttons. So we have the btn view, btn insert, btn update, and btn clear. Okay. Well, let's see what it looks like. I'm curious to see what it looks like. Just make sure we have everything correctly laid out. Okay, so it looks pretty good. Okay, and they're not perfectly aligned, but of course you can make it so that's bigger. So I'm gonna expand. Notice that we have this too small, so I'm gonna make it really big. Right about here. Maybe like the width would be like just put 800 and see what happens. 800. Okay. You can make this shorter if you want, just first middle and so on. I'm not worried too much about the padding here. If you wanted to fix that, that's fine. But you could do like some padding inside the V box. Okay, so this V box here, if it's not really good, you can say root dot set padding. Okay, you have it insert. So insets, right? So new insets, and then we have like 10, 10, 4 parameters. Okay, maybe something like that. Okay, import the insets, and maybe they will look a little bit nicer. Okay, so some room. Okay. So we have view, insert, update, and clear. And if you do something correctly, we should put a message up here, or you can put it below here. It doesn't matter where you put it. But for mine, I put up here, kind of match what's in the book. Okay. So again, here I probably need a little bit more space to show enough. So let's go to 1,000. So there it is. Okay, so now when I click a ID, for example 101, what's my initial ID? I click view, then it should populate these fields with that information from the database, right? And then when I click insert, and you have to check, make sure the insert is not duplicate. So I put 102, I enter the information here, click insert, it would add that to database. And if you want to make some changes, you can click update, update this current ID, and clear, just basically clear out this whole thing. So the easiest way is to clear. Let's do that part first. With the clear, you could just basically, empty all the fields with just set them to nothing, right? So to null. So instead of doing all that in here, I'm going to write a method. Let's do it down the bottom here. Yeah, so make sure this is still there. Maybe move that to the top, just in case I might accidentally delete that. So we'll leave that up there untouched. And again, you need this, okay? If you're running, Eclipse or NetBeans, you need the main method just to launch it. Otherwise, you would say you'll see that it's not going to work inside the Eclipse. You need the main method to launch this application. If you run it from the command prompt, you don't need it, but this IDE, you do need it. Okay, so I'm going to create a function here, just a void, right, called maybe clear all, or clear fields, right? Okay, takes no parameter, and all I'm doing is just basically clearing out all the fields. So the txt, for example, ID dot the set text will be just put null in there, okay, the null value, and that should clear everything. You can do this, all these, the same thing with all these. Txt first name, txt last name, and then txt middle name, and so on. Some of these names are pretty long. I should make it shorter. What else do I have? The address, and then city, state, telephone, and one more for the email, and that should clear the whole thing. So, and that's all it is. But we want to attach this to the button clear, right? So btn clear dot set on action. Remember that? you will just put e. Well, it's not really e. We're just gonna call the clear function there, right? So e points to clear fields. We just call that method to clear it. Okay. So if you run this now, hopefully it does work. Let's put something here. Okay, I will clear it. So notice that everything is wiped out. Okay, so that's all it is. So we're done with that. Now the next part is just to so in order to connect with the database, you need to set a connection. All right. So instead of doing right here inside the start, again, you want to create a function to connect, because basically you just connect one time to the database and you're done. So the best way is to clear the function to connect database. You can call it connectDB or initializeDB. Some really common terms, maybe like initialize or just put connectDB. So I'm going to call a function here, right down here. I'll call this just connectDB. ConnectDB, and it takes no parameters. Okay, and so what that means, I need to have some type of global information in later on. Maybe like well, a statement maybe. I could probably use a statement. Well, maybe not, or depending if I use that in the other classes, other methods or not. But I think the statement will be a global. We'll see that in a minute. So first, I need to connect. So when you connect to a database, you have to use the try catch just to make sure that it does connect. So you use a try catch, okay? And you try catch exception, put e here, and then just put that there. So for now, so I'll put it here again, just connect to MySQL, okay? And the first thing is you want to get the driver, right? You can do it in several ways. If you look at my notes, you'll see that you do it separately. You do like you can create a connection, and then you would load the driver manager, get the connection, and so on. Or you can just do all in one line, which makes it much quicker. Okay. So I'm going to do that in the shortcut way. Also, the one in the book does it this way as well. So I'm going to do it that way. So I need a connection, usually called con or connect, and then set this to the driver manager. Again, the get connection, and as you can see, it takes a string. Okay, we need the connection to be of the JDB. Again, it's in the book, also in my notes, so if you forget, you can always go back to that note. And let's load this connection first. Let's load the library, the JavaSQL. You're going to do a lot of those. And it may be up here on the top, the JavaSQL. Where is it at? Connection. Well, we're going to load some later on. Okay, so down here, you need the JDBC followed by the you're using MySQL, so it's MySQL. Again, look back in my notes, and then it's going to be a local host. We're going to connect it to our local host, and the database is called Java2DB, right? We call it Java2DB. Okay, that is the database name and connection type. The username is, you could just use root. If you're using local here, both the user and password should be root. Okay, and that should pretty much connect your database if it's successfully. Okay, you can always test, check to make sure. How do we make sure? Well, you can always print that out to the console to see if it really works or not. So you can say system out, if it's connected, right? Print line, say DB connected. Put that there. If it's not connected, then you can put the message down here saying DB fail, maybe something like that. It may not throw an error, but at least you know that if you connect it successfully, you get this message down here. Okay, so and let's test this out. So up here, make sure you have to call this first. See, it's a method. So somewhere up here, maybe like in the beginning of your application here, you can do like connect DB. You call that, right? Make a DB connection. Okay. So let's see if this works. And if all goes well, you should see the message saying DB connected. Okay. And that means it's successful. If I change, otherwise you will not see the message. If I change, for example, a different type, let's say if I put Java 2 DB2, there's no such database, and if you connect that, and so you see that it has this DB fail, right? Because there's no such database. Okay, it doesn't tell you exactly, but you could also say fail, and then you can append the message here. You could do something like this. To get the exact message, you can say e.getMessage, and that will tell you the message. So let's try that again. Let's see. Fail, it says unknown database Java 2 DB2. Okay, so that helps you out, right? So you can leave that there. So DB2 is not there, so we fix that. Again, make sure the connection works great. It does, and we're now ready to go. Okay, so let's do the view. The view is the it's kind of easy part, right? Just click view, select from the database, and then show the data. Okay, so the view, if you remember in the back in the here, view is basically you go and browse. Okay, it will say browse from staff. That's what I'm doing. From staff, and I show all these columns into the field, because the star will grab everything here. Okay, so let's do the view, and I'm gonna do it right above here. Or right below. That's fine. So I need a public void, just say view. I guess view is fine. So in the view, we're going to, we're already connected, right? So all we need is this statement, the select statement, which is this one here, select from staff. Okay, so we create a statement, it's just a string. We call this the query or the SQL. I could call it SQL, is fine. We'll call this select everything, the star from the staff table. Okay, but notice that we want to filter out based on the form, right? What it means is, where's that? Where's the book? I think it closed me out. Great. So right in here, oops, not that one. Not that one again. Inside, we need to check the ID, right? We want to make sure that it's in the correct ID, and then you also want to make sure that the ID exists in the database. Okay, so we're going to select the ID, and then we'll click view, it will pull that ID and then show the data. So in other words, in here, really, let's just add another person here. Okay, I'll do another insert, it's just 102. This is like Doe, Jane, and then L, 234, Mary Lane, and then the city would be like Chicago, Illinois. Phone number is 222-333-4444. Email is jdoe@doe.com. Okay. So there, I have two records now. Browse. Okay, I want to show only the 101 or 102. So basically, you're doing a search, right? You do a search. Is that search whether ID is equal to 101, and that's the only one. So if I click go, so you see only show my record. So this is the idea. Select from staff where ID is like 101, or you can say ID is equal to 101. It's fine too, right? So I could like I could do this. What ID equals, okay, equals 101. And if I do go, and it should load me the same thing. Okay. So if I change that to ID is equal to 102, then it should load Mary Jane Doe. Okay, so this is the statement what I want to put in there. So in here, from staff, okay, where ID is equal to 101. Well, this is depending on where it's coming from, the text field, right? It's coming from the ID field. So really, I wouldn't say 101. But for now, let's just say if that's the case. Okay, we'll hard code that in there. Okay, so we got that done, ready to go. The next thing is we need to create the result set when we execute the statement. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to create a statement. And that statement is, since we're going to use it elsewhere as well, we want to make that global. Okay, if I put, for example, statement, statement like this, MT, new statement, right? If I do something like that, then what I get? Well, I'll use that inside this function only. I cannot use it elsewhere. So in order to use it elsewhere, I want to put it somewhere above in the global space. So let's it wouldn't be new, it's just a statement. So I'm going to make this global. So I'm going to copy it, will move this all the way to the global space up here. So maybe like around here somewhere. Okay, I need that statement. And you know what? I don't like that TMT. Just type it out. Statement. How is that? It's better. So now, once I get that SQL, then I need to load that statement, execute that statement, right? So we also need a result. So we need a result set. So each result set would be different. So result set, we'll just call it, result. It's fine. Is equal to the statement, and then when I execute the SQL query right here, and then the query is this SQL statements here. Okay. If that is successful, then we receive a result set of all the records data in that field. So here it asks you to put a throw declaration. So what that means, again, you want to wrap this inside a try catch. Okay, try catch, so that if there's an error, because the chances are it might have an error if there's no record. So do the same as before, exception E, and then let me type that in here. But okay, so we're good with that, and you can just say, if it doesn't exist, then we'll put that, we show that to the label, right? LBL message dot set text. Just say, selection fail or something. So we know that that doesn't work. The result set doesn't work. Okay. You can also put this in the console if you want. That's fine too. But I'll put it in the form. So once we get the result set, and then now we need to check the result set to see if there's any data in there. If there is, then we just load the information. Okay. So we can say now if the result.next, if there's any information in there, right? If there is, then we want to load that into the field. If there is not, then we can say also another message saying, so I'm going to copy this message. You can say something like there is no such record or something, right? The record does not exist. If it does, then we want to now populate the data with that information. So the text ID is already there. We just need to update the rest. So that means the txt first name will be set text to. Okay, we're going to use the result dot get the string, and it's coming in the order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fields. So if the order is correct, then the first field will be the ID, right? If you look at the table, right, the first field will be the ID, second is last name, third is first name, fourth, and so on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way, If it is not come in the order, you can grab the actual record or the table name, the column name instead. So maybe I'll do that, because the first name here is really, if you want to call 1 2 3 4 5, you have to match that actual name. So this is actually the first name, so I want to put like first name. Okay, and let's just say that is the case. Let's say I only have that. Okay, and well, I'm kind of curious what this one would do now. So let's just do another one here. BT view dot set on action, not context, action. I'm gonna call the view. Okay, let's see if that does something, if at all. So now, if I put in 111, it should say fail. There's no selection. Be 101, and then it does something, but it didn't. Do anything. So let's fix our information here. So again, this is 101. Okay, we're supposed to select the ID for 101, and so select, well, because we hard code that in there, I thought that should work. Let's try again. When I select this, it should say variable is selections fail. So if you want to know why, again, selection fail, and then you put the message over here, e.get message. Okay, so you know exactly what that message is about. Well, maybe not here, but put in the console. Okay. So we'll put the message down here to the console, and not up here. So it would be exception SQ. I think it's not the exception. SQL maybe? SQL exception. Oh, let's see. Selection fail, and then the e-message. Doesn't give me the e-message. Well, let's see. We get the message. It's the same thing. Okay, I'm not sure why it's not doing that, but let's just take that off for now. Let's try again. So select from the staff where ID is equal to 101. So I got something there. Okay, some error, which is we'll figure a why. Okay, so it doesn't like that statement for some reason. And then I wonder if it needs to have let me see. Well, I think I'm missing something here. So looks like, let's see one more time. Okay, well, let's see. I have a no pointer exception, 8686 right here. So that means that this is not, something is missing here. Well, let's see. Let me see my statement here. I initialize that. Oh, okay. I'm missing the second piece before I can use the statement. I have to connect this with the connector. That's the piece right here. Okay, so when I made the connection, I have to set that in here. So statement dot equal to the connection. Okay, so this is really confusing, but so I need to create a statement here. This would be just the blank connection. I needed to make that call. Then I can access the statement, I think. Well, let's see. Let's try again. So I should pull my information and just pull the first name here. Okay, so that was the problem. Okay, all right. So I got my first name here. As you can see, it pulled that from the first name field. If I put a 1 here, it will pull the ID. 2 will pull the last name. So if I put 2 here, for example, right, it should grab the last name because that's the order of that table. So sometimes if you do this way, if you use a number, then make sure that this is the last name. And if you want to use this way, at the order is important. Otherwise, use the actual table name, column names. So I have about 8 of them, right? Excluding the ID. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is the first name, middle name. It just makes sense to put this way. Last name. This is the city or address, right? Address, city, state, telephone, and then the email. Again, just make sure you put the right column names in here. Okay. Otherwise, you will have an incorrect type of data. This is the state, city, address. This is the last name, then middle name. Okay. So let's save this and run it again. And let's see if I type in view. Okay. Well, selection failed. I probably didn't. I made something incorrect here. So first name, middle name, last name, address, city, state, telephone is mistyped. Okay. Let's try one more time. Okay. All right. Got some. Let's see here. What is not working also? First name, the middle name. Do I not correctly match it with my database? First name, oh, middle name is MI, and then address and so on. So MI is the middle name. Let's fix that again. Okay, this is the third time now. We'll see if this will work now. So here it is. All right, finally, all the ID. I guess we do need to put ID in there. Let's just do that as well. txt ID set text, and this is the result. I get string, and then the ID. Okay, and I hope this will work. So here's 101. Okay, so the next thing is we click 101, then it should load this person. If it's 102, it should load the 12 person. Okay, so to do that is in your results set right here, the set 101 here. Okay, instead of that one there, I would append that with the text ID get text. Okay, you're gonna put that there, and you also want to trim maybe like just in case there's no other special characters after that, right? You want to make sure that it's trimmed off. And then well, it'll be plus. You want to make sure that, well, let's put a single quote here just to be safe. Single quote, and then you close it with the single quote as a character. ID is equal to text ID, not the ampersand, with the plus. I'm sorry, confused with Visual Basic. Okay, so now it should load, and then depending on the ID I put there, it should grab that ID. So if I put 101, that should be me. Okay, if I put 102, that should be Jane Doe. Okay. So clear it. Let's clear it. If you want to add, so you put 103 and you put some information here, right? And then you click insert, and that should insert the data to your table. So again, you will create a table, a function called insert, and then just use the insert method earlier. So insert would be basically you issue that really simple insert, statement we saw earlier here, right? Insert into the table called staff, and then the list of the columns, and then values, and list all the values. Okay, update will be kind of similar, what I showed you earlier already. So I hope this is helpful to get you started. And if you have any questions, or if you get stuck anywhere, please don't hesitate to send me an email. Thank you.